Okay, good morning. I'm back with HappyChappy, and today we're going to talk about law again. First video of the morning, so let's make it about law and court. So, in most cases, things are actually contract law, and I'm going to base myself in this or put myself in this to explain it. So, my situation is I have a contract with the electricity board. So the contract is for them to supply me electricity and for me to pay it. So in my whole findings, I seen there was misconduct. So I withheld from paying it. But I've no issues with paying it if it's produced in the right manner, in a lawful manner. So the case is that they came to my house and with a warrant and police officers to enforce installing a meter into my home, which I disagreed with because I wasn't going to look after their property. I actually asked them to take everything out that I would do without the electric, that there was no need for me to have. But yet they still supplied devices into my home, which was an offence. It's obstruction, and they're coming into my property, which wasn't allowed. Now, the warrant is the important part here, is the bit I'm trying to point out. Now, so in contract law, what you'll find is both parties have to be at the case. Now, to get a warrant because one of the parties isn't doing what the other party is expecting, then in contract law, both parties are liable. Not the party that you may assume that, oh, well, they didn't stand up to their contract, so they're liable for that. No. Both parties are liable because the trust is there for both parties to trust one another and to work it out. Now, so if there's a case that comes up, so you have to produce a case, a court case to get the warrant, then both parties need to be there in that court. Well, I wasn't there. I wasn't given any decisions, any questions, or the choice to have an appeal. Now, no matter what the decision is after the court case, if one of the parties still disagrees, then you have that right to appeal. And and no need to seek permission to appeal that. It's just automatic. Because you're not liable. You see, all the services that you are getting is working for you. Because of you, they would not have that job. You are the creator of everything. Now, that's not saying that you don't pay it. Obviously, you pay whatever you use, and it's part of exchange currency. But if it's not done in the right manner and people are taking advantage, and to be honest, what you will find with myself if you were here is at the start of the year, my bills were like steaming high, and I wasn't even using any electricity. And it came to that stage where it was coming to the last few months, I started using everything. I wasn't paying for it, so, and I asked them to come and take it out. They didn't take it out. I also set up a business and exchanged the property to put in a business, so the name would be switched over, and then I could pay out through business and start over fresh. And then the case of the matter of me and the company would be sorted out in court separate, which was not done. So in all these cases, what you'll find is the public figure is ignored, even though you're classed as being a party of a contract in contract law. And anything that they produce to you, any of these services, whether it be from the court or wherever, unless you are there at that court, it's unlawful. And no matter what happens, you're not liable. Both parties have to sort it out among themselves. It's up to both parties. Now, it can come down to a jury, where the jury decides overall, which would be a fair way to do it. But that is not the case that happened with this warrant. In fact, it wasn't just one warrant, it was a couple of warrants. For another warrant was for mental stability, with neighbours and friends and family saying, well, basically there wasn't sane, more insane. But what I'm getting at is this warrant was produced because of other people's views and what they were saying. So if I was to go out and say, oh, well, he shot somebody, obviously they're going to look at that and that's probably a bit extreme. But if I said, oh, well, he was acting strange, just out of character, and that's not normally what he would be doing, I think you should go and check out that that person is doing all right. And if in the case of handcuffing them need be, go and get a warrant for that, just in case it may need be, and then that happens. Well, that can't happen without that person. If they have done nothing wrong, haven't harmed anyone, or committed an offence of theft, or taken something off someone else, then there's no reason for them to approach that person in any way whatsoever, which was what happened to me. And I got placed in handcuffs, I got assessed, was I mentally stable, and between psychiatrist, doctor, and I think social worker, there's 3 or 4 of them there, and a few police officers. And I just stood at my door, and yet they put me into handcuffs. And I said, you don't need to handcuff me because it's not like I'm going to run anywhere. And they said, you could run into the house. It's patheticness. And yeah, it's petty little things where they're overlooked and they're let away with. And then who suffers from that? The public figures. I know this is all in Northern Ireland, but I'm assuming this happens in anywhere where there's legislation laws, because that's what it's run under in contracts, especially contract law, because that's where you're half of the party of that contract, but yet you're getting the whole punishment of the contract, which is not truth. The truth is that both parties are equal. So if one disagrees, the other one's going to suffer, no matter what way it is, who's disagreeing, they're both going to suffer until that's sorted out between both parties. Now, what happened here in both cases was it was taken out of my control and placed in the company's control, where I wasn't even looked at as part of the party, but yet I'm the one that's paying for it. Now, this can be classed as civil cases, but now, if you're looking at civil cases, it comes down to evidence and balance of probabilities. So what could have been on a civil case could have been the warrant for how people were judging how I was, unstable or whatever. But you've got to look at it in this way. So if these people are looking at me to be unstable and that my mentality is not fully there, then when they've assessed me and done it out of character of the law, who's breaking the law here? You see, the judge has broke the law. There's been no court case where I've been there to represent myself or had another to represent me, to defend myself and to look for that appeal, which did not happen. It was all enforced on me. And also, there was no evidence. The evidence was word of mouth. He was acting out of character. So what was actually happening was things that I've known about the community, the law, criminal activities going on. I've been in and out all over through my life, and I'm the kind of person that keeps my mouth shut. I mind my own business. I don't share other people's business, whether it be right or wrong, whatever they're doing. I get on with my business, let them do whatever they're doing. Time will tell, do its tale. But it came to the time where I decided, well, no, I'm not carrying everybody else's baggage anymore. I'm doing me. And so I expressed what I knew, and people didn't like it. They didn't like the truth. So then I became the victim of their truth. Because it wasn't that I was expressing what I thought, it was I was expressing what they all told me and let me know by their characters. And yeah, when the truth comes out, it hurts. And then I became the victim of their attacks, on the street, in the court, with not even being there, having police officers, and yeah, just assumptions as well. So it's mainly coming from assumptions that they produced the warrant, where other people were having opinions of what they thought of me. So if I could make up opinions, like literally just make them up because that's what's happened, because when they've assessed me, I'm perfectly fine. Well, to what them looked upon. Uh, it's easy to act crazy, it's easy to act sane, but who knows what anybody is like. Uh, but I would say I was, seeing that is. And I wouldn't say I was out of character, I just actually spoke my mind for once and let it all out. I let all the baggage out that I knew of, because I wasn't dealing with them people anymore. I wasn't having them in my life. I got rid of them, got them out, pushed them aside. I didn't need them, never needed them. I always assumed that I needed them, but I didn't. And so they came with attacks, and it just showed their activities and how the judge and the police, and with the public friends, how they're all connected to each other. And yet I knew this and I was saying it. But then whenever I said it, the attacks come on me and I get this warrant. But as I'm saying, this is all from what other people are thinking. So should they not be mentally assessed? Not me, but them. Because when it's found out that I'm okay, should these characters not be assessed for being petty? As to me, where I'm sitting, it's like being stuck in a playground and being the only one that's ever grown up. Yet I'm looking around me with adults with children's minds being petty and picking on someone. Not that I care. Well, I do care because this is happening everywhere, but I'm not bothered by it. I'm still getting on with my life and doing my thing. I just don't want this kind of thing happening to other people because it could be difficult to manage. And to be honest, I don't think I'd have managed it a few years back. Now, I had to go through many different experiences and manage myself to be able to manage these situations. But for just to happen upon someone to not be ready for it, it could be devastating. And I don't want that for anyone. So, what I'm advising you to do is look into this yourself. Everything that you're getting through a company or supply of some source, uh, or signing anything, you're signing into an agreement, and it's normally a contract. But you're getting one side of that contract, and that's the side that they've made up. What you've got to realize is when that contract's been made, you've the right to write out your own side and what's going to happen if there's a problem during that contract. And if there's any cases or warrants to come upon you, then you have that right to be sat in court. And if that does not happen, then there's a breakage of law, a break in the law. Sorry. And that is what we have in this legal system. It's unlawful. And it has always been unlawful. And until people stand up and speak the truth about what is actually happening, then this legal system will just walk all over you. And you, the people, the public, will be the ones that suffer. So I'm asking you to stand up for yourself, stand up for the people, and understand that you have the power, because none of all these companies, contracts, lawyers, businesses could ever be produced without the people. It's the people that runs everything. You are the creator. We, the people, we created everything, and nothing can keep going without us. So you can't let a few people manipulate that and run everybody else in the public sector and control them and have people out in poverty on the streets when there's plenty to go around to make sure everybody has a home and to make sure everybody isn't on the streets and has heat and has a roof over their head and food and that in their home. There's nothing to stop that. Now, we see loads of people out on the streets, but yet we see many a home just boarded up. Now, I've been in a case, I wouldn't call it homeless, but in a case, it would have been classed as homeless. So I wouldn't call it homeless because I got home pretty quick. But I was put down as homeless and I went to get a home. And when I was applying for it, I was told that I wouldn't be on top of the list. And I was asking why and who would be, above me. So it came down to it would be foreigners. And I've got nothing against foreigners, but why would you put a foreigner, someone that's not even from this country? And that's in any country. If I was to go to another country, why would you put me on top of the list? I wouldn't be entitled to that, personally speaking myself. And the second on the list would be a pregnant woman. Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking, is would they not be on top of the list? Like, even if I was homeless, like, I know how to survive, but a pregnant woman, would she not be on top of the list? And then I was homeless and I was third on the list, which did not make any sense to me. And this is your legal system. So anyway, I dug into it a wee bit and I found there was a house. And it had been lying there for months, nothing done with it. The council had did nothing. And when I say council, these are the people who are supposed to be looking after the public, but they've turned to be companies. So corporations, all about making money. So when I inquired about it, they wanted to know how I found out about it, which was none of their business. Just if you think about it, why would they want to know? So they could prevent it from anyone else finding out in another case. But when I found out, within 2 days, it was being given to someone else, and that the council had moved in and started clearing it out. And I had already said that I would go in and I would sort all that out and clean it up and do it myself. But no, they would rather give it to someone else that was on the list. And hopefully, if they gave it to someone, hopefully it was that woman that was pregnant and not a foreigner. No offence to any foreigners. By all means, if you've no home, you should be entitled to a home no matter where you are. And no matter where you're on the list, you shouldn't be on a list. But this is your legal system. It's not working, it's never worked, and it's been manipulative on the people for their own benefit. And it's, as I say, it's unlawful. So until people actually stand up and see that, well, you have a right, as much as they tell you you don't have any rights, you don't have any rights in the legal system, no. Because you're signing over to them, you're just giving in. That's why you have no rights. You're just giving up on it. You're not battling it. You're not fighting it. You need to find that evidence and hold it. Build that evidence up. And every bit of evidence you get, you can take that and be a part of the party that comes against that legal system. Be the law. Because you are the law. As long as you're not committing an offence against somebody else or harming someone or thieving off them or breaking through into their property or assaulting them, then you can do whatever you want. As long as you're not harming somebody, then you're entitled to do, say, be however you want. That is your choice. And the choice that God gave you, the godly choice of what you want to do. Yet you still have that choice if you want to go and harm someone or whatever, but then you're going to be liable to the law and also the legal system. But you've got to understand how the legal system's working. Instead of using violence physically, they're doing it mentally, in controlling how you are, in controlling your stability of your life by manipulating in their system that's unlawful. So I'm just asking for yourself and for everyone else and for all the children that's growing up, especially them women that's pregnant, that is second on the list, and now then babies have to come. For all these kids that has grew up, you don't want them to be dealing with this. So start making a move now and making that change, because it's the only way things are going to change. Until you start making changes, then it won't happen. We just need more people to make a difference and stand up to these legal systems that have no right. And as I say, it's about 6 to 7 times within the last 2 weeks, I've had these pettiness of the police officers coming to my house. As I say, I've been put in cuffs, had 2 warrants, but I'm still sitting here and I'm happy in who I am, and I've actually started doing these videos and enjoying them. If anything, it's just given me drive to fight it even more. And yeah, hopefully you can find something in this that'll help you and help you fight against this legal system, which is unlawful. Wishing you all a lovely day and sending blessings and love out to you all. Thank you for watching.